Joseph Murphy worked for decades that economic abundance is not happenstance, but the outcome of the vibration that an individual generates in their mental field. When Murphy researched families that lived with constant economic limitations, he noticed an intriguing yet unsettling pattern. These families bore, without being aware of it, an energetic atmosphere of insufficiency that maintained itself generation after generation, like a corrupted file playing non-stop the same melody of scarcity. Murphy referred to this pattern as vibrational legacy. He recognized that any family possesses an emotional pattern related to economic matters, a resonance that passes on through attitudes, silent beliefs and emotional responses regarding monetary limitations. This inherited vibration acts like invisible programming, establishing not merely what someone can acquire, but as well as their fundamental relationship with plenty. Murphy perceived that several of the monetary impediments that he noticed did not arise from inability or adverse luck, but merely in the received pattern that a person assumed from the beginning of life. This insight fundamentally altered the manner that Murphy considered financial transformation. Rather than instructing solely profit strategies or investment strategies, Murphy concentrated on a more fundamental principle, changing the vibrational frequency about money that any person assimilated from their heritage. Murphy described impressive situations of beings who succeeded to overcome this ancestral pattern, utilizing specific techniques of cognitive reworking. One of these stories dealt with an executive called Roberto, whose family heritage faced a repetitive cycle of economic collapse that prolonged itself from generation to generation. His grandfather had lost all his wealth in a disastrous speculation. His father had faced bankrupt businesses, and Roberto, although dedicating himself to work obsessively, perceived himself replicating this identical sabotaging pattern. Each time he was able to collect some significant amount of fortune, something appeared without apparent explanation, and the individual saw everything vanish. It gave the impression that there was an invisible force obstructing his voluntary efforts. Murphy mentored Roberto for months, showing him an essential truth that would represent the core in his entire thought. The subconscious psyche does not differentiate between money you deserve and capital your family believes is appropriate. If in your essence resides the resonance that wealth is threatening, that growing financially is risky, that monetary stability is deceptive or fictitious, in this way your unconscious will function incessantly to keep you within this vibration. Once it seems to be the real fact, the subconscious psyche does not ask questions. It solely performs the instructions that were fixed in your interior through lived legacy. Roberto finally understood that he was not complacent or inept. He was programmed, and mental patterns can be deconditioned. Murphy revealed that when you alter the dominant vibrational pattern in your core, you alter the command that you emit to your unconscious. It resembles reconfiguring a machine that was operating with obsolete software which is unfavorable. If the code remains defined to receive solely a determined sum of patrimony, then that is exactly what you will receive, without considering how much you work. Murphy proved this principle through deep visualization techniques that he had instituted through years. He guided his disciples to dedicate 5 to 10 minutes every morning, preferably immediately upon waking, when the consciousness remains in a permeable alpha state, imagining not solely the entry of patrimony in their existence, but fundamentally the internal living of stability, genuine confidence and personal value that comes along with this arrival. Murphy insisted absolutely that this internal experience signified the real key. It was not the money isolated that was relevant for the metamorphosis. It constituted the frequency that the person created in connection with money. With Roberto, Murphy began a process that he called Ancestral Vibrational Transmutation, a system that he had consolidated through countless successful cases. Roberto would have to, during 2 months, expend 15 minutes every night before sleeping in a state of deep meditation. In this sacred space, Roberto should perceive in a conscious way the total economic journey of his ancestors. He should visualize his close ancestor experiencing the economic disaster, his progenitor confronting failed ventures, and all this ancestral lineage who preceded him taking like patterns. Then, psychically, Roberto should utter with real feeling, I admit what you lived. I tribute with admiration the challenges you faced. I recognize the importance of the trajectory you tread and the adversities you experienced. However now, in this sacred moment, I liberate this resonance of scarcity from my being. I establish a new frequency for my ancestors. Henceforth, in my living, circulation of resources, wealth, and economic security are the dominant patterns that governs my decisions and my life. Murphy observed meticulously that when Roberto did this with genuine sincerity, with true emotional feeling that involved his whole being, something extraordinary began to happen in the external world. Roberto's financial situations began to reorganize subtly, but surely. An opportunity that Roberto would have previously rejected out of fear or mistrust came to be seen under a new, illuminated perspective. An old client returned with a substantial project. An unexpected scholarship for his daughter appeared at the exact moment when her education was a financial concern. None of this was coincidence, Murphy explained with conviction. It was simply the natural and inevitable consequence of an altered vibration. When you change your internal vibration, the entire universe needs to reorganize itself to correspond to this new frequency you have established. People, opportunities, resources, everything begins to align differently in your life. Murphy established a teaching that he designated Law of Vibrational Correspondence, a truth that he had confirmed in hundreds of cases. This law asserts that the external world always reflects completely to the dominant psyche. If internally you vibrate with intense fear of scarcity, then the surrounding environment will reveal incessantly events that confirm this terror and validate your limiting thought. If inside you there exists authentic confidence in your inherent prosperity, then the external circumstances will reveal opportunities that strengthen and cultivate this confidence. The most revolutionary aspect of this concept is that it operates regardless of your current state or your past circumstances. An individual totally indebted who changes their predominant frequency to abundance will start in a few weeks to identify small changes that are apparent. These modifications tend to be subtle at the beginning, but are signalers of a real transformation. An unexpected cost is impeded since you determine to not make an impulsive purchase. A possibility appears because you found yourself in better mental disposition to dialogue with a significant person. Your whole body starts to resonate in a new pattern. Murphy had a special interest in the family aspect of this transformation because he had observed an extraordinary phenomenon repeatedly. When a person changes their vibration and manages to maintain this change for a sufficient period, the entire family dynamic begins to reorganize deeply. Children who were struggling financially begin to prosper unexpectedly. Parents who faced chronic difficulties find new solutions and paths. It is as if this person, by raising their own vibration, pulled the entire lineage to a new vibrational level. Murphy explained this as a principle of family resonance. When a musical instrument begins to vibrate at a specific frequency, all other nearby instruments naturally begin to vibrate at the same frequency, even without physical contact. Likewise, when you establish a vibration of prosperity within you, all those energetically linked to you naturally begin to enter into resonance with this elevated frequency you created. To establish this change of vibration that was continuous and transforming, Murphy created a method organized in 3 steps that he believed completely indispensable for real transformation. The first moment is what Murphy identified as conscious ancestral recognition, and he stated that it was unfeasible to advance without completing truly this first step. In this stage, you need to expend time sincerely recognizing the complete financial trajectory of your family. This does not mean holding responsible your predecessors or rebuffing them with negative emotion. It means simply viewing with absolute clarity what they faced, the emotional lesions that they experienced, the formattings that they established as a system of resistance in challenging periods. Murphy observed that many people strive to avoid seeing this uncomfortable narrative, tried to pretend it did not exist, and this prejudiced permanently the real transformation. It continues being truly impossible to become free from what you deny consciously to view. Murphy guided his patients to initiate this simple technique, which is transformative. In the night hours, preferably at bedtime when the psyche is more open, sit in complete silence. Inhale and exhale with depth for some moments, and psychically think deeply on your lineage. See the faces of your ancestors. Recognize the adversities that they faced. Express mentally with authenticity words like, "I recognize that you, my grandfather, faced traumatic losses that created deep fear in your mind. I admit that you, my female ancestor, developed survival strategies that propagated through generations over generations." Murphy explained that this recognition is deeply healing on a spiritual and psychological level. By recognizing the story, you take this story out of the unconscious, where it operates silently controlling your actions, and bring it to the full light of consciousness. In this clear light, it loses the power to control you automatically. It ceases to be something that controls you like a puppet and becomes something you see with absolute clarity and can choose to transform. Murphy used to say with emphasis that nothing that remains unconscious can be truly transformed. Everything that is brought to consciousness can be worked on, can be dissolved, can be rewritten in a completely different way. This first stage should be practiced for at least 2 weeks every day with genuine emotion and complete attention. The second stage of Murphy's method is what he called declared vibrational disconnection, and he was absolutely clear about its critical importance. In this stage, after consciously recognizing the ancestral story, you must declare with authority that this vibration of limitation will no longer be the dominant force of your life. Murphy was not in favor of a vague or intellectual approach in this stage. He demanded genuine emotion, clear intention, and deep commitment, not just to the words but to real transformation. After recognition, still in your moment of silence at night, Murphy instructed his clients to place their hand over their heart and say with unshakable emotional firmness, "I completely release the vibration of scarcity that was inherited through generations. I unlink my conscious mind from every pattern of financial limitation that belonged to my ancestors. I allow my soul to be the genuine and true origin of my prosperity and abundance. From this moment, the dominant vibration I establish and maintain is that of conscious abundance, genuine confidence, and unlimited flow." Murphy clarified that this confession performs for it institutes a new force in your being. You are not rejecting your family or your trajectory. You remain merely realizing your inalienable right as a thinking being who is free to choose a distinct pattern. Murphy had recorded diverse cases proven where this confession, when done with sincere and genuine emotion, produced a vibrational rupture so powerful and transforming that visible modifications emerged in a few days. He maintained noted examples where clients shared extraordinarily clear dreams, and extraordinary dreams right after the confession. Dreams where their predecessors showed themselves to accept this vibrational change with quiet approval and energetic consent. Even though Murphy presented himself as a rigorous scholar who was thorough in his general way of proceeding, he admitted that there prevailed events that went beyond merely material understanding and rational logic. The third stage is the one Murphy considered absolutely the heart and soul of the entire vibrational transformation. He called it continuous vibrational re-establishment, and it was in this stage that the real work of rewriting your financial reality happened. In this stage, you not only dissolve the old problematic vibration, but actively establish a new vibration that becomes your dominant pattern. Murphy was extremely specific and precise about how to do this to achieve real results. After the declaration of disconnection, still in their deep and receptive meditative state, Murphy instructed his clients to visualize a field of golden, luminous, and living energy completely enveloping their heart, radiating to their entire body. This field is not vague or abstract. It is real, intensely felt in the body, palpable like a transforming physical presence. Murphy frequently asked his clients to describe in precise detail how this golden field felt in their physical body. Some described gentle and comforting heat. Others described deep and enveloping safety. Still others described an extraordinary sensation of expansion and freedom. While he preserved this vibrant vision and felt, Murphy directed with firmness, "Say internally with genuine conviction, my dominant vibrational pattern now is awakened abundance. My body pulses totally with economic confidence. My deep being is completely reprogrammed to welcome in an ample way, to earn completely and to preserve continuously wealth. My energy remains aligned entirely with opportunity, inexhaustible current, and infinite elevation. The want that was passed forward extinguished itself entirely permanently. The abundance that is my original divine heritage installs itself now as the eternal truth of my being. Murphy reiterated categorically that these declarations must be expressed not robotically by habit or superficially, but with genuine deep emotion, with sincerity that comes from the heart, as if you vibrated declaring the most important truth and essential of your complete life. Murphy observed that this third stage is exactly where most people faced significant difficulties in the process. They managed to do the first two stages with some success, but in the third stage, the rational mind began to doubt and question. How can I say I am prosperous if I have significant debts? How can I say my vibration is abundance if my bank account tells another story of limitation? How can I declare what only my current reality denies? Murphy had a clear and transformative answer for this. He explained that the rational mind does not govern true reality. Vibration governs reality. The rational mind is merely a tool that describes retroactively what vibration has already created. If you want to change what the rational mind describes, you must first change the vibration at the root. Murphy used a potent and transformative metaphor. He said that vibration is like the root of a tree, and visible financial results are like the branches, leaves, and flowers. If you only look at the visible branches and try to change the tree by pruning the branches, you will never achieve real or lasting change. But if you change the fundamental root, the whole tree changes inevitably. Murphy advised that this last stage be practiced daily, without failures, for 40 days at minimum successive. He had designated the period of 40 days because he had noted in countless cases that it was exactly the necessary duration for a new resonance to install itself definitively as the prevailing pattern in the deep field of the deep being. The beginning of 14 days are about establishment and fixation of the transformed energy. The new vibration still presents itself as delicate and temporary. It still fights powerfully with the old vibrations that seek to remain. In days 15 to 28, something essentially transforms and emancipates itself. The new frequency starts little by little to reach genuine potency, to perceive more natural and legitimate, more essential to your deep essence. In the period of 29 to 40 days, the new frequency finally firms itself as the predominant vibration that rules your choices. Following 40 days of permanent realization and heartfelt practice, Murphy identified that those who sought him shared an emotional change so substantial that it was perceptible even to uninvolved people. The terror that freezes in relation to money reduced considerably until extinguishing itself. The emotional weight of evolving economically and welcoming extinguished itself totally. A security which was calm, genuine, and unshakable in the economic destiny commenced to manifest fluidly from your core. Murphy had a particular and very effective method to help his clients maintain absolute consistency during these critical 40 days. He recommended they keep a simple and honest journal. Each night, after completing the full ritual of the 3 stages, they should briefly note what they felt and observed, not for heavy intellectual analysis, but simply to deepen the experience and root it. Murphy observed that when people recorded their experience in words, the practice became more concrete, more real, more irrefutable. He also recommended that during these 40 days of transformation, people be particularly attentive to the small signs of change that appeared. A small but significant opportunity that arose unexpectedly. An unexpected expense that was providentially avoided. A casual conversation with someone that led to an interesting and unexpected possibility. Murphy taught that vibrational change does not typically begin with spectacular and dramatic results. It begins, always, with small synchronicities indicating that vibration is genuinely changing at the deepest level. Murphy accentuated a crucial aspect that various disregarded entirely in their fulfillment. During these 40 days of disciplined realization, the practical attitudes equally keep essential relevance. The frequency prepares the fertile ground, yet you still necessitate to cultivate the courage to act. If an opportunity surges in your path, You necessitate to develop the valor to take advantage of it authentically. If a conception surges concerning how to increase your income or to amplify your income sources, you require to be ready in putting it into practice with determination. Murphy identified this as aligned action, and it configured itself absolutely critical. It forms the conduct that surges naturally after your vibration has changed to prosperity. This act reveals itself radically distinct from the desperate conduct founded in dread. It is movement that is firm, sharp, instinctive, and exact. Murphy observed that after his disciples preserved the appropriate frequency and acted regularly in synchronization with this vibration, the paths flowered in forms that in the past presented themselves absolutely impossible or almost miraculous. The trajectory that the Master Murphy presented was fundamentally a trajectory of genuine emancipation and radical. It did not represent dodging from true obstacles. It was facing the real situation that you saw yourself as structured by inherited vibrational pattern and opting attentively and with strength to alter this vibration completely. It was accepting that you possess supreme capacity not merely to transform your own life, but to transform the entire trajectory and hereafter of your complete family. This knowledge constitutes genuine power in its most essential meaning. Not that capacity uniquely to win or to defeat adversaries, yet the real power to transcend, to transmute frequency, to transcend ancestral restrictions. This principle, Murphy professed with unbreakable conviction, signifies the genuine liberation, which is material and holy, that every soul pursues.